But we're gonna play this video and we're gonna break it down. So I'm gonna stop in between.
Steve, I've been with my husband for about 19 years, and we have 2 children together. He's the disciplinary in the household. However, at times when he's going in on our boys, I'll chime in because I feel like he's being a little too rough on them.
Yeah, let's break that down real quick. You know, you guys see that often where there are two-parent households. It ain't got to be a two-parent. Maybe the father's coming to pick up the child, and maybe the mom says, you know, your son has been doing X, Y, and Z, and then he begins to discipline them, and the mother feels that he's being too hard. You guys see this?
Yeah, I can't stand that shit, JR. That shit. I had to get on my ex-wife about that. And I will call it, I said, don't undercut me. Don't do that. Because when you do that in front of him, that's gonna give him the green light to continue to do his bullshit, whatever I'm disciplined about. He's getting okay. So when you sit there and tell me, oh, it's not that bad, no, it is. It's that bad because I say it is. Now, you may not feel it's that bad. I feel like it is. And so if whatever I ask him to do, he doesn't do it in a timely manner, that's a problem for me. But I don't need for you to come in there saving his ass. Let me handle it. Now, if you want to talk to me afterwards, we go in the bedroom, we can have a conversation. But in the meantime, while I'm doing what I need to do, allow me to do that. Do not undercut me. I can't stand that shit. That pisses me off. I would never do it I never did that to my ex-wife. When she was in her discipline, I said that. Now, only time I would step in if I feel like I hear him being disrespectful. Then I'm ready to knock his goddamn teeth out. But if I don't hear that and she's just getting on him or whatever, do what you got to do. If I feel like it's too rough or too harsh, then I'll pull you in the bedroom. We'll talk about it. But if not, do your thing.
All right. Anybody else want to speak on it? If not, I continue with the video. We just get one more person.
Yeah, I mean, I think parents need to be on the same accord, really. Like when I was younger, I would definitely play them against each other. You know what I mean? And then my grandmoms would come in town and she was like the hierarchy. So I'd ask my mom, oh, can I go outside? No. I go to my grandma's, can I go outside? Yeah. So, you know, my mom looking outside and see me outside after she told me no. You know, it's like, yo, y'all better get it together, yo, because I'm playing y'all, yo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to tighten up. But y'all, even if you're wrong, you still need to be on the same accord. Even if the woman feels like the husband's being too harsh, have that conversation together in the room away from the kid and be wrong together. You know what I mean? Because once kids are smart, man, especially now, they're getting smarter and smarter. And once they sense some dissension amongst the ranks, yo, they're going to prey on that, yo.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the video a little bit. Bring it back.
He feels like I'm making them soft. How should I respond to this, or how should I act in the situations when he's disciplining our boys?
Well, you don't have to agree with everything he does, but why don't you just stay out the way? I mean, and I'm not being sexist, but listen to this. Why did you marry your husband?
Because I love him.
Is he the man of your dreams?
Yes, he is.
Is he the man you hope your sons will grow up to be?
Yes.
So why would you stop him from raising them into that?
I'm not stopping him.
I want to go to the ladies with this one because I think they highlighted something that was really important. When a woman steps in to intervene with that, do women often feel that the man can't handle it? Because then I'm not saying you guys in particular, but I just want to talk about this. This is something that happens all the time. And I'm starting to wonder if that woman doesn't fully trust that man's leadership with that family, with that household, with the parenting.
You hit the nail on the head. I just can speak for me. I am guilty of doing that with my son's father when he was younger. And that came because I didn't trust him, or I didn't trust his parenting skills, or that he was too militant because he served in the Army. So I realized me stepping in those times really had nothing to do with my thoughts of his lack of parenting, but my bitterness or disdains towards him and our personal relationship. And so I had to be honest with myself that I was doing him and my son a disservice. So, I mean, now, we're on one accord. When his dad get at him, I completely stay out of it. Even when my son try to cry to me, I'm like, this is something you and your dad, even my dad had to tell me, stay out of it. That is their relationship. So even my dad had to step in and kind of pull me to by the collar. And it was like, you're doing too much. It sounds more personal than it is about parenting. And it was true at the time.
What about you, Kelly? What are your thoughts about it?
I agree, Amber. And I think once like you get out of your feelings for the other person, you realize it's only about the child. And
Mm.
that's when you can have like a healthy co-parenting relationship. It's not like I hate you or I don't like you. I don't like that you said this because I don't like you. It's more like what is the best situation or scenario for our child. So I mean, early on I had a lot of these issues with my son's dad because our breakup wasn't pretty. But as we grow, we were young. As we grew up, we both matured, realized like he does not need to. He's not going to benefit from us fighting. So we need to decide what's best for him. Even to the point, I know we were talking earlier, but my son, he actually asked me a similar question. He wanted to go live with his dad. He's like, I kind of want to know what it's like to live with a man. So he moved with his dad for the summer, and he's going to stay with him for the year. So it's a trial year, so we're gonna see how it goes. But I've seen him drastically change within just the past 5 weeks that he's been with his dad, and it's something that I couldn't have taught him. So I would say I didn't trust that he was going to raise him the way I would have, but he's doing what he needs as a young boy, something I couldn't give him. So I definitely think it's a balance, and women cannot do it alone. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that was a bar that was put out there. Understanding the importance of a father, especially if the father wants to be in his life. There are some things that some women may not just be able to teach that young man. And it's unfortunate that you guys can't have that nuclear family. You guys can't keep it together. But in the event that it's not, single mothers understand that that boy in particular at some point in time should be with his father earlier, much earlier than later. Because once children start to develop these habits and these ways, it's going to be hard to break them. So the earlier the better. Whatever
Mhm.
beef that you have, animosity, even don't even make it about the money. Don't even come for his money. He might just be. That's a decision that you made, and you probably was aware of it before you laid down and opened them legs. You probably knew he was a bum ass nigga, and it is what it is at that point. So don't go chasing him for the money now. Just understand that him being a father, him being having a presence early on is much more important than that money, because now we're gonna break the cycle. We're gonna build a quote unquote a better black community, as you guys like to say, right? I just say community. That our children will be better in this world and in this society. So go ahead, Hank. I think you were trying to say something.
Yeah, I stayed with my ex longer than I probably should have because of situations like this. Because I knew if I wasn't in there on a regular basis, his most vulnerable span of his life, no telling what type of young man he would be right now. And I just couldn't have it. And if that means I have to tolerate some bullshit that I normally wouldn't tolerate from him, then I had to do what I had to do. But that was just the situation. Because I'm not going to let you ruin my son and spoil him like you did, your daughter. No, we're not doing that. That's not what I'm going to let happen. I'm not going to see that happen. So I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure I'm right there. And so right now to this day, as far as visitation, he stays with me. He comes to my house every day, after school every day. You know what I'm saying? If he decides he want to go home over to mom's house, it's cool. He has that right. But he stays with me most of the time because he knows, now when he wants something, that's when he's like, oh, okay, I won't go with my mama. because she knows she'll give in.
Man, hold on,
I tell her,
moving too fast. We're gonna talk
okay,
about that.
my
We're gonna
bad,
talk
man.
about that.
Okay,
Again, happy
we'll
Father's
talk.
Day to all the fathers out there. If you haven't heard it already,
Happy Father's Day to y'all, man.
I hit that like button, y'all. Let's go
Can I
ahead and
say?
go
Can I
ahead.
say one more? Can I say one more thing?
As long as it's
Just
not
in
pouring
regards
into
to like,
something early. I mean, later we're gonna talk about it. As long as it ain't that.
no, it's in regards to this question, but more from like the nuclear family, like how my parents handle it because they were married, so they always stayed on one accord. Like, and they knew that we would try to pit them against each other. So I would ask my mom something, and then she'd be like, "Did you ask your father?" I'm like, yes. What did he say? And they would always like communicate with each other. I'm like, well, hold on, let me call your dad and see what he said. So you couldn't do it because when you stay in a good, healthy relationship and you're communicating with each other, the children can't play that game with you. And my mom would step in, like, because my dad was the disciplinarian, so he felt that we should be spanked when that's how he disciplined us. But she didn't really agree with spankings, but she submitted to his authority in that way. But she would always be like, "Can you not spank them so hard, honey?" Like she would step in like that, but she would do it privately. They would never do it in front of us. I thought my parents were very happily married and they never fought because I never saw them fight a day in my life. They would always go in the room after we were asleep, they would have their discussion, and whatever they came up with, then they would discuss it with us after. But like sitting all together in like a circle in our family room, and we would talk about what they discussed, but we would never hear an argument. They never did that in front of us because they stayed like healthy in front of us.
All right, y'all. We're gonna let me try to comb through this video. We're definitely gonna talk a lot more about that a little later. All right, let's go ahead. Where are we at?
I'm not stopping him. I just feel at times he's a bit harsh with the punishments.
He is hard on them because they boys. Undisciplined boys grow up to be undisciplined men. Do you know the problem you're gonna have?
Yes.
Undisciplined men end up in the hospital or in a prison, or they end up in a grave. That's what happens to undisciplined men. I got 4 daughters and 3 sons. I have raised my sons entirely different than I raised them girls, because I had to. Because it's a different set of expectations on the boys. Now, do I want my girls to be successful? Yes. Do I want them to get equal pay? Yes. Do I want them to be treated fairly? Yes. Do I let men run over them? Ain't no way. I've raised my daughters to be strong, independent, and all of that. All my girls.
Now, when I was listening to that, I think I highlighted the point of him saying that undisciplined boys, undisciplined later on. I'm just hearing in real time like the other stuff, and I know people probably like, what? Like, was it just me, or did it? Did you guys agree with that second part? It's not part of. Let's just scratch it. Let's not even talk about that. Let's just talk about the boy part.
Well, I was going to say I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Steve does or says, but what I'm saying so far, I totally agree. I totally agree. Like you said, undisciplined boys turn into undisciplined men, and that's definitely not what we want. We don't need no more of those in the world. We got plenty of those now. We're trying to make a change.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak on that?
Nah, I think that's one of the key things, man. That's one of the key things that if I can go back, I would change, and that's discipline, man. Having discipline as an adult is so important because, you're monitored when you're younger. When you get older, you have this ability to have most of everything you want. But you have to have the discipline to, yes, I can have it. All of this is mine, but should I have it? Nah, I need to do a few things before I get that, which is important, man.
What's the famous quote by Frederick Douglass? It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And so I correlate that quote to what Steve Harvey's saying, that undisciplined young men can translate into undisciplined men. And as everybody say, grab them early. Instill morals, convictions, work ethic, integrity into their minds early, because we don't know how this environment or their paradigm can shift and create arrested development.
All right. We're going to go ahead and comb through this video a little bit more real quick because he did speak on some of the things that we've already talked about. So just a different perspective on this. Let me go ahead and bring this back up again.
Now, my wife has told me, you too hard on them boys.
That's what I think he is. He's too hard. But they play us against each other now. So they know mom is more laid back, dad is more strict. So they play the role of, if my husband's yelling at him, my 11-year-old will say, well, mama said I could do it.
And why do you think he does that? Because mama said.
He's playing us, but he's playing us, Steve, and it's...
Because
don't know.
kids are manipulative.
Yes.
They are master manipulators. They don't mean no harm, they just doing what they can do. Kids are slick. Now they playing y'all against one another. Marjorie and I came to a conclusion. When the girls come in there and ask me something, or the boys come in there and I know that I got a feeling they've been upstairs, I say, go ask your mama. When they go and ask her, they say, go ask your father. Now they go, well, I already asked mama. Well, what did she say? And whatever she said upstairs, I go along with that. Now, if we disagree.
All right, so that's kind of similar to what we was talking about, right? We got to watch out for these kids. I think that was the lesson because we spoke about it, but kids will try to play you. Kids are smarter than what you think. Think about how they navigating on these TVs, all the apps. Have you ever seen a 4 or 5-year-old on the damn tablet, a 3-year-old? Look at how they navigate. You think they're not paying attention? You think they'll be on some slick shit?
It's so
Absolutely.
funny.
I read it. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead.
No, I'll wait.
I was just telling somebody how I caught my son trying to play me a couple of days ago. You know, he started crying and saying he didn't feel love and appreciated because I was fussing him about his chores, and it just hit me. He's playing me. And I'm thinking all the years he got out of punishment or chores because he pulled on my heartstrings because I didn't want to feel like the bad mom. And the whole time this ninja's been playing me.
That's true. It's so easy to do. I remember I read a parenting book when I became. What'd you say, Hank? I remember I read a parenting book when I was a new mom. It was like How to Raise Boys or something. And they were talking about how in the Terrible Twos, they throw their tantrums. And this lady was expressing how she kind of did like a test on her son. And she said he would like fall down in the grocery store and then like have his little tantrum, and she would just walk away. And he would like stop his tantrum, follow her, see where she was. And then when he saw her, he would fall down again and do his whole tantrum. But after like the third time she wasn't paying him the mind, she's like, he's like, okay, so this doesn't work. I have to find something. And he's only like 2 years old. So they know really early how to play you, how to manipulate you, who to cry to, who they can get away with what with. Like, they're so smart. I even watch my nephew, my niece now. I'm like, they're playing you, right? But it's so easy when it's your child. You're like, no, that's not what they're doing. They don't know. But it happens every day, all the time.
All right. Go ahead.
I remember I was dating this girl. She had a young kid. The kid was probably like 2.5, and she was in the back seat in the car seat. I was driving. Mom's was in the passenger seat. And we having an in-depth conversation, and all of a sudden the kid, 2 years old, just start saying, "Mommy, mommy, 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 mommy." And like right through our conversation, I looked back at her and she straight winked at me. Like, nah, man. I know what's going on.
No.
I said, stop. Yes. When I said, these kids are
How
smart,
old is
man.
she?
She was 2 years old.